So it will not stop raining. I have a bunch of projects that I need to do with all the machines in my garage. And it's just so muddy outside, I can't get anything done. And it's gonna keep raining day after day after day. So I thought it'd be a good time to work on this ballast box. When I made the first video on this, I mentioned how I was just kind of testing it out and I wanted to repaint it and do a couple other things to it. And I swear if I have to look at this being red any longer, I'm gonna freak out. I want to paint it black and do a few mods to it. I need to drill some holes in the side so I can hook up some hardware, and then I need to take these pins off and put some actual roll pins in there instead of these pins that I have in there now. They're just gonna get bent up anyway. So, but right now I have about 7 bags of sand in there, 420 pounds. So I need to get that out of there. And I want to try to do this without dumping the whole thing of sand all over my garage floor, because I want to put it back in. So I'm just gonna see what happens here. Well, that wasn't too hard. It's mostly empty now. Gotta blow it out still, because I'm gonna paint the inside of this as well. Doesn't have to look good, I just don't want it to be red. I don't want to see any red on this thing. If you're curious, 420 pounds of sand is 6 5-gallon pails and half of a Tidy Cats pail. So, but I should be able to get this thing separated now and it's really stuck in there. There's no way this thing's 100 pounds by itself. Not sure where I got that stat from. I think that's what the box said that it was delivered in. But it really doesn't feel like 100 pounds. But anyway, I'm gonna take these pins off because I don't want to paint these pins black. If I remember, I think these are 32 millimeter. See if my impact will take these off. So I've had these roll pins in my hardware organizer for a long time. I think I'll use those. And then I just realized if you put these on, then I can't really use this ballast box on anything else unless it has quick attach. So it wouldn't really go on my John Deere, which is fine. But I don't know, I know absolutely nothing about these. I don't know how you're supposed to install them. I think I'm going to try using my vise, which is over on my welding bench. I'll get them in there one way or another. So I honed out this adapter a little bit and tried pounding that little pin in there and got about halfway, and it will not go any farther. So I ended up finding a 27/65 bit, I think. 27/64 bit, and it's just perfect. So I honed out this other one, and this pin should go in a lot easier than the other one. I don't want to waste footage, but I'm going to hone these out and try to pound these in. So I got the pins in there the best that I could. I really had to drill out these holes to even get these pins to even remotely go in. And I really dented these adapters up, pounding on them with my hammer. Even had to cut the end of that one off a little bit because it wouldn't go any farther, but they're on there now, they're not going to come off. So this paint still needs to dry a little bit. I already scratched some paint off right there. I'm lifting this up. So I'll have to go over that again and really let this dry. But I wanted to bring it in because we got a storm coming. I didn't want it to get rained on. But a while back, I bought these little mounts from Tractor Supply. Colpin. Can't remember how much they were. I think it was like 15 bucks for 2 of them. But I think a lot of people use these on UTVs and Jeeps, and basically it's just a mount for hand tools and whatnot. So I'm gonna kind of measure them out and drill some holes, bolt them on there, so then I can put tools like this on the back of the ballast box. So if you didn't know, Harbor Freight sells these assortment kits for all kinds of hardware. I mean, bolts, pins, everything. And it's, I don't know what this was. I think it was like $7 or so, but look at all those bolts they give you in there. Sorry that light's so bright, but way better than grabbing a bag at Tractor Supply and grabbing random stuff. It's all in this little container, and it even says what you got in there. And there's even washers and nuts and everything, so. And we just need something to fasten these on, which that's more than long enough. Need 4 of them. And four nuts. And we're going to use washers because we have them already. Eight of those. Alrighty. But then the rest is just dust, and that'll wipe off. Or maybe it won't. If I need to paint it more, I'll do it outside, but I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'll put the little mounts in. Well, those look pretty good. Centered on there and not bad. So I'm gonna let this paint dry for a couple days before I really move it, because it just comes right off right now. It's so green. Alright, a week later, and this is how the ballast box looks. Paint's had plenty of time to dry, so hopefully it doesn't flake as easy as it did. But anyway, I'm kind of running out of time to work on it, so I'm going to be putting it back on because I need it for a project coming up. So I'm going to throw it on the back here. Unfortunately, I was unable to either buy a torch or pay somebody to torch apart the counterweight that I have, that I got for free a while back. I was gonna cut that down into small pieces and throw it in here, and it would make it weigh a lot more than just having sand in it. But but I don't feel like buying a torch right now, and it's $100 an hour to have somebody torch it where I live. So anyway, I'm gonna be putting the sand back in, but I do have some metal here that weighs a decent amount. This is the leftover metal from my welding bench that I made. Now that welding bench, even with the top plate steel not on it, weighs a lot. That square tubing is heavy. So these small little pieces I have left, I'm going to throw those in the bottom. Might add, you know, another 50 pounds or whatever. So if I can get same amount of sand back in with these in there, as well as this thing, I don't even know what this is. I think it's a homemade ground anchor. I found it digging in my backyard. But if I throw all that in there and all the sand, I should be up to about 570 for weight. But I need the ballast box back on there. Later on, I can always, you know, get that counterweight torched up and can always redo it. Doesn't take very long to scoop sand out of this. And a while back I bought some duct tape. I'm gonna be taping up the cracks in that little door, because if you don't, then you'll have sand falling out. Everywhere you go, you'll leave a little trail of sand. So I'm gonna tape that up from the inside. And then if you ever really do have to open that door, you just pull on it really hard, it'll rip the tape. So that's the duct tape in there. 4 pieces, doesn't take much. And it seals pretty well, so I don't think any sand's gonna get out of that. Especially after I fill this ballast box up, it'll really keep that tape up against the side there. So I'm gonna put a base layer of sand in the bottom, and then I'll put all these pieces of metal in there. And I gotta try to make sure that all these get filled with sand and there's no air inside of these. Be nice to have all my buckets back. I'm actually surprised that all those buckets will fit back in this again. At some point I really want to get a torch so I can cut my own thick steel apart. So that's what I did. Towards the back of the ballast box, and I'll fill it with sand. See how this goes. Cool. So those are all full. A lot easier filling that thing than it is emptying it. So hopefully that's close to 570 for weight. Like I said, I can always add more weight in the future when I need to. I just got to get something heavy enough that's small enough that'll fit inside of that box. And I'm not a perfectionist by any means. I'm pretty happy with the paint, but if I ever need to, I can always you know, throw some extra on there if it gets scratched or anything, because every time it gets scratched it's going to show red underneath. So like that. But as long as it serves its purpose, I guess, and it's way better being black than red, because the red was driving me crazy. This pin right here has been on there for a long time, and it's too long, so I'm going to put a shorter one in there. It's been driving me crazy. That looks way better. This thing kind of reminds me of that tool rack thing you always see advertised on YouTube, except it's like a couple grand. You could easily buy a $200 ballast box like this and just keep adding things on the side until you have a whole bunch of tools on it. Save yourself a lot of money. I have nothing against that company or any companies that sell stuff like that, but this is pretty handy. Shovel, whatever. Could put a chainsaw thing on the side, axes and whatnot on the back. Got a place for a hitch. Then you got this entire side that you can put stuff on. For now, I'm just gonna do the 2 slots there for shovels and then the thing on the back, but I'd like to get something so I can mount one of my chainsaws on there. That'd be really nice, because if I have to bring a chainsaw with, I'm not really sure where to put it. Because you definitely don't want it riding in the sand and the chain rubbing on the side of the box. But